What's going on, man? This your boy OG. Truth hurts. And today, man, I'm gonna do a little Hawk talk with my Atlanta Hawks. It's gonna go out to my folks out there at New Pack City, captained by my man Jamal Price. It's gonna also go on my regular Facebook page. Listen, this is another episode of King's Ransom. Okay, listen up, Hawks fans. This Nate McMillan talk. I see some few people in our fan base that got a real serious issue with our head coach and our head coaching situation. All right, I'm not gonna go all into the part about you know how some of y'all look. I'm just gonna get right into the meat and the potatoes part of it, meaning we got to ask the question: why is Nate McMillan the head coach? Let me tell you why, based on what I've seen, Nate McMillan is the head coach. 3 years ago, excuse me, 4 years ago, after Mike Budenholzer told this organization that he didn't want to go through a rebuild, we went through a coaching search. There was several candidates, but for the most part, all of the several candidates were somebody's lead assistant. So we went with Lloyd Pierce, a guy whose strong suit mostly was player development. We don't remember I said that his strong suit was player development and defense, of course. But just to be honest, the team was in blow it up mode, so he really had a shitty roster. Okay, all right, they blew it up, and got, they started, rebuilding. They started drafting. They drafted John Collins. Then the following year they brought in Trey Young, Kevin Herter. The following year you brought in DeAndre Hunter, Cam Reddish, Clint Capella through trade. And then last year you brought in Yeka Kongwu, Danilo Gallinari, Bogi Bogdanovic, and that's how the rebuild kind of progressed. Wound up last year after removing Lloyd Pierce. We made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. Okay, now Lloyd Pierce was a lame duck head coach from the beginning. That's abundantly clear. All right. Again, we couldn't keep Budenholzer because Budenholzer wouldn't sit through a rebuild, and you weren't gonna get no other veteran head coach to come in here to sit through a rebuild. So you had to go out there and take a chance on someone's lead assistant. Okay, we wasn't gonna get lucky like we did with Budenholzer. When Budenholzer got the job with the Hawks, yes, he was a career lead assistant, but he had been doing it for 17 years. So he 17 years. He done sat through a couple of championships. He done sat up under one of the greatest coaches ever. All right. So now the team looking like a team supposed to look that's tanking. I hate to use that word, but that's what it was. I mean, you got to call a spade a spade. Okay. We get into year 3, the last year of Lloyd Pierce's contract. team sputters out the gate. The team sputters out the gate. John Collins suspension. Um, um, that back and forth between Collins and Trae Young, and then the reports came out about whatever phone call that took place amongst a few of the coaches, what Lloyd Pierce might have said about Trae Young, and it became a fucking soap opera, and then the whole fan base turned on Lloyd Pierce. Turned on Lloyd Pierce to the point to where ownership jerked the GM's chain to fire that man in the middle of the season instead of just letting him finish out the season, which is what me and a few other Hawks fans were saying. Let him finish out the season. Let's see how it play out. And then you can go out there and you can do a proper head coach search. But guess what? When year 3 started, they added Nate McMillan to his staff after Melvin Hunt left. Nate McMillan took over where Melvin Hunt was. Nate McMillan is a veteran head coach in this league. He had been in this league coaching for 15 to 16 years. I think Lloyd knew the writing was on the wall then. You're not going to, let me tell you something. A GM / owner, listen, a front office is not going to bring a guy like that on a staff if they ain't already worked out a deal. What I'm not understanding is how a lot of y'all are not understanding that. He was already the de facto head coach anyway when he got put on the freaking bench. Okay, so back to it. Fan base turn on Lloyd Pierce. He the worst guy ever because he didn't kiss Trae Young's ass. A lot of y'all know how I feel about that. And he was being accused of bullying by Cam Reddish and so on and so forth. And they said John Collins didn't like him. And, oh, man, these soft motherfuckers in this generation. Okay. All right. So now we fired a coach mid-season. The GM pretty much his hand is forced to fire him. Interim head coach becomes your 16-year lead assistant. When he takes over, everything clicks. He finished. He goes like 27-11 in the last 38 games, and everybody know the story. They made a Eastern Conference Finals run, and they eventually got supplanted by the eventual champions. Okay. All right. So now the season is over. So now I guess we got to go on a head coaching search. So Travis Schlenk was ready or prepared to do a head coaching search. Now, what I don't know is, was a search actually made? But you got to be realistic. Realistically speaking, if a guy who's a veteran in this league leads you to the Eastern Conference Finals, it only makes sense to give him first dibs on the job. So they re-signed. They took the interim tag off and gave the man a 4-year deal. And this was a upper level management move. When I say upper level, going past Travis Schlenk. So now fast forward to this season. This season again sputtered out the gate. And I guess we was all sitting up there waiting on that light bulb to come on or that light switch to come on. And you know, it's like you trying to start a car. You try to start a car that got a bad starter, and it's turning over and it's turning over. That motherfucker never turn on, and they never turn. Now, amazingly, I'm seeing a lot of those same people who ran Lloyd Pierce up out of here. Now everything is Nate McMillan's fault. Okay, so now we got to get Nate McMillan the fuck up out of here. So that's where we are now. Listen up. That ain't happening, y'all. That ain't happening. The only way that's going to happen is if they take a page from the Boston Celtics book, meaning Brad Stevens was the head coach. They moved him to the front office. And he hired his guy. Nate McMillan is under contract for another 3 years, meaning Travis will remove Nate as head coach, bring him into the front office, or make him a special consultant or something like that. But he gonna be doing some type of fucking work to earn his money. The GM is not, listen, the owner is not going to allow the GM to fire the head coach when it was ownership who forced the GM's hand to fire the last head coach, okay, and forced the GM's hand to take the interim tag off this guy and pay him. Yes, Travis Schlenk's hands is tied, even if he wanted to fire Nate McMillan like a lot of you all are feverishly asking for. Now, what are you going to do? Are y'all going to continue to bitch and moan and make the rest of the fan base feel uncomfortable because you all sideways and in your damn feelings about it? Let me tell y'all what y'all need to do. I'm gonna tell y'all the same shit that I was telling a lot of our fellow Falcon fans who bitch and moan about the situation. You know the best way to do it? Hey, they got email addresses. Hey, they got Twitter accounts. They got cell phone numbers. They got Facebook account. Look, hey, y'all go at management. Go at ownership. And for you guys who going out there spending your hard-earned money on season tickets and apparel and all this shit, he'll stop spending money with them. That's how you get them. Bitching about it all day, every day, it ain't gonna change. Nate McMillan will not get fired, at least not this year. Now, if the team stakes it up this year, they may consider pulling the trigger on him at the end of this season. But even if they do, you still got 2 more seasons. If he decides not to take no goddamn head coaching job, dumbasses. I had to say dumbasses one time. If he decides not to take no head coaching job, then that means we're going to be paying 2 head coaches for the next 2 years. But see, that's what a lot of y'all want because y'all emotional thinkers, y'all closed-minded, and y'all, anyway. That's something totally different. I'm not gonna be too insulting. You know, y'all, a lot of y'all can't handle my wraths. But at the end of the day, your issue is with ownership. Now, let me sidebar something real fast, and this ties into Coach Nate. I see a lot of people bitching and moaning and whining and complaining and throwing teenage temper tantrums about player development. Let me explain something to y'all about player development. I'm gonna ask you a question. What in the fuck is the G League for? What y'all thought the G League for? Just to be a minor league system for the basketball team? Just to go somewhere and stash some guys? Go somewhere and stash some guys just in case somebody get hurt or we go through a lot of COVID and all of those shit there, and we can just go and pick them up. No. The G League is the NBA developmental league, you dumb motherfuckers. No, I'm not finna sit up here and put pressure on my head coach to try to develop motherfuckers when we got a developmental league. Idiots. They got people down in that developmental league. I want to say they got Malik Rose and Sheldon Williams or somebody down there. That's what they in charge of. A lot of you guys raising hell about certain guys not getting burned. But then you turn around, then when they go out there and they stink it up, then you want to bring up development. Do y'all know how stupid and dumb and idiotic y'all sound? It's a reason why they're in the fucking developmental league. To develop. Somebody created a post yesterday, I think it was my brother, my young brother Mike Smith, showing the 5 guys up there with Golden State. You had 4 of those guys that did 2 years in the developmental league, and one guy did 1 year. And amazingly, some of you closed-minded motherfuckers still arguing. It ain't rocket science, y'all. That's my rant for today. Go Hawks. It's your man OG Truth Hurts, King's Ransom, going out to my folks out there in New Pack City. Make sure y'all like me, share me, subscribe me. I'm out.